So you would do a wire for each flower you intend to create. I'll show you the different stages of the flower now. Taking whatever color gum paste that you have. I'm going to be using yellow today. You would break off a piece to roll out. The cutter that we're going to be using today is a small carnation cutter. It's not a large cutter, so I'm not going to need a lot of paste in order to make this flower. It's better to roll out and cut with just enough paste to form the flower so that you don't expose any more gum paste to the air, which will dry it out. I'm taking a little bit of vegetable shortening on my fingers and rubbing it into the gum paste as I press and knead the gum paste with my fingers. The warmth of my hand is loosening it up, making it more pliable and easy to roll. On the rolling pin, I have pink size guide rings, and these rings are a 1/16 of an inch. That's how wide I want to, that's how thick I want to roll my gum paste. So I'll put my gum paste on my board. I'll use my dusting pouch just to coat the surface very lightly, and then I'm going to roll the gum paste to a 1/16 of an inch. Now when it stops rolling, it's reached a 1/16 of an inch, and you can kind of test that by rolling your rolling pin across the board like so, and if it catches, then you know you need to roll some more in order to get it to a 1/16 of an inch. I'll take my cutters and I'll just give a little rub around with some vegetable shortening, not a lot, so that it will cut nicely. And I'm going to twist and cut one shape, twist and cut another shape, pull up the excess, and I always want to put the excess away where it won't be exposed to the air and dry out. I'm going to take one of these shapes and scoop it up with my tapered spatula and put it up underneath the practice sheet to avoid drying. The second piece, I'm going to create my bud and my first stage flower with this. So I'm going to take that small carnation cutter again, and I'm going to cut off probably about a third, just about a third of the, maybe a little bit less, of the small carnation shape with the carnation cutter. This gives us a nice rounded shape, and that'll look nice when we go to form the flower. Now you see that I'm massaging this piece again because that will make it a little bit more pliable, and then when I roll it into a ball on my palm, it'll smooth out any of the cracks on there. Then I want to take one side of this ball and with my index finger just rock it back and forth in order to form it into a little bit of a cone. I'll then take my prepared stem, dip it into my gum glue. Now I don't want it dripping in gum glue, so I'm going to shake it off a little bit or rub it across my wrist. Take my hook and I'm going to slide that almost all the way into this little cone shape. Here you want to pinch it right there at the base without forming too much of a tail. And as I spin this, you can notice that on my left hand, my hand is not grasping the stem, it's flowing freely between my fingers as I press and form this gum paste into a little bit longer and thinner cone. You can see what that looks like there. Then I'm going to take my little spatula, my tiny little spatula. You can use your tapered spatula or the knife tool from the Wilton kit if you'd like. And I'm just going to brace it with my finger with the top edge slightly over my finger, actually. And I'll take the spatula and imprint a little mark there. Don't worry if you see some green, that'll be all right. And you can see that it curves it slightly as well into a little bit of a beak. You can reform the point if it gets a little misshapen, but that is your prepared bud. So I'll have that over to the side ready to go. I can always slip it into my styrofoam. I have some coffee straws that I snipped in half and put into my styrofoam, and these are ideal for the thinner of the wires, and you don't have to put them in and out. You can just rest them in there like little flower holders. For the first shape of the first stage of the flower, I'm going to take my my remaining piece of gum paste, and I'm going to put it on the thin foam. I don't want to enlarge this too much, but I do want to imprint it with this petal veiner. So I'll take the petal veiner and I'll gently roll from the middle to the edge and the middle to the edge. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Middle to the edge and middle to the edge. Now because this second side has the deeper imprint on it, because it wasn't mashed up against the foam as the first side was when I did the second side, I'm going to use this as the part of the flower that you'll see the most. I'm going to take the ball tool and I'm going to soften the edges. Notice that I'm mostly on the foam and just a little bit on the edge of the petal as I do this. You don't have to do it in one full sweep, but you're going to use it kind of like an eraser, kind of rubbing it, like a little rubbing it. But you do want to make sure that you are on the foam with this. Now you can do the inner edge too. I don't often do that, but you can do the inner edge too if you please. So it's just along the edge, and that way we avoid taking away most of the petal veining imprint that we've made. And then I'll take this over onto my thick foam. So here on the thick foam, I'm going to vein down the center. Now I like to use this tool for it, but you can use the veining tool as well, and the veining tool would start from the inner edge out to the outer edge. If you used this tool to make a little center vein, you just do a little poke down. And because I'm for simplicity, I find that easy. I like to leave this piece on the thick foam. It makes it easier to attach to the bud and stem. So I'll take my prepared bud and stem. Now the imprinted side, the side that we've made that little indentation on, is going to be facing upward. So the rounded side, the beak side, is going to be facing towards the flower. I'm going to take a little bit of gum glue, and I don't like to use a whole lot of gum glue. And I'm just going to brush it around the base there at the back, the part that's going to attach to the first stage bud. Then I'll take this and I'm just going to press slightly down, and so you can see nicely, I'm going to pull up and press here. You see that I've still left it on the foam. It's still on the foam. Just going to press here at the base. Then I'll pick it up and give it just a little bit of formation around that base and pinch that little area in the back where I made the indentation to form it a bit like a taco. You can leave some of your flowers like this. This is the first stage flower, and it looks quite pretty if you have several of the buds, just the sole buds, then the first stage flowers in various stages of opening, and then the second stage flower, which I'm going to show you how to do now. So I'll just rest this up in my little styrofoam and get this next piece of gum paste.